Oh. 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 Satchidanandarupaya Vishvotpatyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Janmadyasya yatonvayaditarataschaarteshvabhignaswarat Tene brahmahradaya adikavaye muhyanti yatsurayaha Tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha dhamna svena sadani rasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi dharma projita kaitavutra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayonmulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Kim va Parerishwaraha Sadyo Hridya Varudyate Trakritibihi Shushrushubistat Kshanat. Hariom and greetings from Grimsby. When was the last time that you offered gratitude to your eyes? Think. When was the last time you offered gratitude to your eyes? Maybe never. I'm thinking about this because recently I didn't have my glasses on, and I think Shuka said, "Where are your eyes?" It made me think about when was the last time I offered gratitude to glasses, to corrective lenses? When was the last time you offered gratitude to light, to physical light? If there was no physical light right now, you could just hear me, but not see me. When was the last time you offered gratitude to awareness? If there was no awareness, you couldn't even hear me. I couldn't even be able to think or speak. When our shastras tell us that we're struggling with ignorance, we are. We take for granted our eyes. Deeper than that, we take for granted light, but most deeply, we take for granted awareness. And I'm going to be a little bit more harsh here. For us, it's not ignorance, it's apathy. For Shuka, it's ignorance. He doesn't know about physical light, what it is, what it does. He can't spell awareness. For us, we know this and we still take it for granted. And that is why a course on Bhagavatam I want to share is mandatory. Mandatory to live. I'm not even sharing for enlightenment. I mean just to live. Ta means to change. Va means best. Ga means feel. And bha, light. Bhagavatam is the best way to change what we feel from I am limited to I am light. The 11th skanda is filled with Vedanta. We are in a impactful dialogue right now. In this dialogue, the first question, how should a bhakta live? Keyword is live. How should a bhakta live? Question 2, tell us about a bhakta who does live this. So live, lives, as in is doing. Question 3, what stops one from living as a bhakta? And trying to simplify for you, all in reference to Bhagwan, that is a bhakta. How did they live? How is one who's doing this? What are their signs that they're living like this? What stops them? And question 4, what starts them? This is stopping them. How do they cross over that? How do they start to live again? Clear? Live, lives. Stops, starts. Question 5. It's harsh to say what, but I'll say it anyways. What is Narayana? What is Narayana? And answer 5, Ahetu. The one that is causeless. That means Narayana is the highest, the original, but a more profound meaning of Ahetu is never caused. So all of the stress, anxiety, dejection in our lives, that's a mirage. It's a projection. It's as real as you make it. Because philosophically, there is no creation. Creation is caused, and Narayana is Ahetu. Narayana means to live for life. Live is a verb. Life is a noun. Live is small l. Life is big L. So if someone asks you, what is the purpose of your living? Your response, not just in words, but in feeling, should be life. We use different words for life, like Bhagwan, infinity. Life is synonymous with that. It was in verse 40 where the word Uru, Bhaktya, is used. Uru Bhaktya. Uru means intense, complete. It technically means bigness, but here's how do you become a more intense devotee, disciple? And that then led to the 6th question and answer. The 6th answer is given by Rishi Avirhotra. Okay, so the 6th question is, Uru Bhaktya, how do I become a better devotee disciple? The answer given by Avirhotra. This is a lovely name. What it means, Hotra is ritual. And Avir really means Avir Bhava, which means to manifest. What rituals will make Narayana manifest for me? This is more simply shared as karma yoga. How do I make my karma so that it's yoga, so that I am a bhakta, uru bhaktya? Connecting some of the questions and answers. If we revere Bhagavan, and I know we do, then that also means we have to revere our Sadguru, our guide. That was shared in question 4 and answer 4, correct? How do we cross? We cross by prostrating. To who? One's guide. If we revere Bhagavan, we have to revere our guide, and we have to revere our guide's guidance. A Sadguru's life is really the teachings of the Shastra. See the triangle being formed. Sadguru, Shastra, Bhagavan. We have to get into this triangle. You can't just hold on to one part of it. You have to hold on to all parts of it. So that's why this question and the answer is relating to the guidance. Karma can either be akarma, vikarma, or karma. Akarma means laziness, tamas. Vikarma means aggressiveness, or rajas. And karma in this framework is quietness, or sattva. More specifically, how does one intensify their devotion? Step 1 is drop prohibited actions. If the Veda says this is immoral, then it's immoral. Drop it. But you can't just drop without holding on. Step 2, hold on to your responsibilities. That's called nitya karma. And this we've explored throughout Bhagavad Gita, and even in this course. But this has to be refined more. This is step 3. I want to remind you again that we're not trying to learn how to be good. We're trying to learn how to be great. We're already good devotees. How do you become a great devotee? Those responsibilities should be felt as an offering. Arpana buddhi. Drop prohibited, engage in responsibilities, but then those responsibilities, any sort of weight that comes with them, oh, I have to do this, I have to go there. This has to be lightened where I feel this is an offering. Those who do not follow this script, the answers for this question I've already told you. This all comes between verses 43 and 55. So I'm giving you highlights of all of this. Those who don't follow this script, the exact wording that is used, they go from death to death. Those who don't make their responsibilities an offering, those who don't make their karma into karma yoga, simply go from death to death. While they're alive, they're really dead. And then they're born again, but born into the same way. So that's also death. The implication for us, swadhyaya, study yourself. Not even who you are, that's deeper. Just study what you're doing. For those in our silence retreat, I feel that's one of the most potent parts of this retreat, is you really shift from being instinctive to being intentional. We all claim to be karma yogis, but are you? We all claim we're not going to be born again, but are you really giving up dependency? Because if you're not, you are going to be born again, from death to death. Another highlight in these teachings, a Vedic lifestyle. Karma Yoga is very much about all you do, lifestyle, does include puja. Remember, Srimad Bhagavatam is happening during Dwapara Yuga. It is a period of time where the primary sadhana or practice to become pure and clear and free is puja. And so that's shared here. This is the Yuga sadhana. And there's many details that are given. Puja in this section is called Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga. There is a discipline in how to offer puja. It's called Kriya Yoga. But this Kriya Yoga is only to be practiced so that outside of our puja, what we do is karma yoga. Makes sense. It's almost like Kriya Yoga is a scrimmage, karma yoga is the game. But you learn in the scrimmage. I also want to share here, our yuga has changed. We are no longer in Dwapara Yuga, we are in Kali Yuga. Please share with me in the chat, what is the Yuga sadhana? What is the practice for purity and clarity and freedom in our time? Japa, good. Namasmarana, those are synonyms. I'm happy to see how quickly you've written that. And I'm happy to know that means you're engaged in a contentment challenge, that you're a heavy japa writer, yes? More details about this Kriya Yoga is before, during, and after offering puja, one should be cheerful. Which I don't think applies to a lot of us. And it's even shared here that eventually this puja has to go from physical to mental. That you close your eyes and all of this puja is offered mentally. And you must realize that puja is designed for that. When we engage in a puja, the first step in the Mukhya Puja, the main section, is called Avahana. That's where you put your left hand on your heart and your right hand touches that icon. That's when the puja begins. The idea is, I have forgotten that I'm divine. So I'm transferring this divinity to an icon because it's easier to feel divinity in an icon. But the last steps of the main puja is namaskara. What does that mean? That I'm offering my forgetfulness, the ignorance, the apathy. And then what do we do? Udvasana. I love this design in our puja. With both hands, you gently push that icon back. See, the automatic implication of this, I feel I can go on and on and on about this. In our culture, puja is to be offered in your own home. See, if I went to Chinmaya and facilitated a puja, I can't push back those big murtis. They will crush me. They're cemented into the altar. But the fact that I can push back my murtis, that shows I have personal ones, correct? Udvasana means I'm retransferring that divinity from the icon to my madhya, to my heart. That's why I'm emphasizing one should be cheerful during a puja. This has to evolve to being a mental puja. This has to evolve to you feeling you are Bhagavan Krishna. The final thought in question 6 and answer 6. Our actions should be leading us to kama for moksha. Last week, the word I used was naishkarmya. Naishkarmya means you are free of doership. Free of doership. So my actions should be nurturing my mumukshutva, my intensity for freedom. And the completion of that is moksha or naishkarmya, where I don't depend on actions anymore. I'm acting out of fulfillment, not for fulfillment. Helpful? Meaningful? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Okay. If you're feeling overwhelmed, don't feel overwhelmed by the details. If you're feeling overwhelmed, feel overwhelmed that you're not doing enough. You're not being enough. We are bhaktas, but this is about uru bhaktya, uru bhakti. The summary for number 6, what is shuddhata? How do I become more pure? And the answer, yoga. All you do should be united with your guide, following the guidance to your God. We continue. We are now approaching the 7th question. This is in the 4th chapter. We've completed chapter 3. We're moving on to chapter 4. The first shloka. Who's asking the questions? Please share with me in the chat. Raja Nimi. And remember, he's already enlightened. So now I'm asking you again, who is asking the questions? Point. You're all pointing to me. You are. You control Zoom. You're reading the Sanskrit. You are asking these questions. The answer is given by Rishi Drumila. I talked about him a lot this week. Drumila means tree. Drumila means compassionate. Because trees are icons of compassion. So beautiful. Chapter 4, verse 1. I think I said it. I'm saying it again. Verse 1. Yani yani ha karmani ye swachanda janma bihi chakre karoti kartava haristani pruvantunaha. Yani yani iha karmani. Every detail of actions. yehi swachanda janmabihi, of every birth. Here, this is relating to Bhagavan. Every action of every birth. Specifically, chakre, which means that he did, karoti, that he is doing, karta, that he will do. Confirming who this is for? Hari, Bhagavan Narayana, Tani Bruvantunaha, tell us. Tell us every detail of every birth of Bhagavan Hari. So now we have to go through Srimad Bhagavatam all over again, from the first avatara to Bhagavan Krishna. The implication of this question is, if I know who Bhagavan is, then I will know how to relate to him. I've shared this in different ways with all of you. If we knew about moksha, that is freedom, we would live for it. But we don't know enough, which is why we don't live for it. If I know who Bhagavan is, then I can be dedicated to Bhagavan. I can love Bhagavan. I can be Bhagavan. Rajanimi is really shady in an awesome way. He's essentially saying, tell me about Bhagavatam again. It's like our children, one more episode, even though the episode is finished, but we can't hear it. So they'll say it's the same episode. The answer is given from verses 2 to 23. 2 to 23. Why I share these references with you is because research is easier now than ever before. If you Google right now, Bhagavatam 11:4-2, so much will come for you. 10 years ago, it wasn't like that. 25 years ago, it wasn't like that. How do you research? You have to have a guidance, correct? So that's why I'm giving you these references, so you can keep on researching, keep on reflecting. One more implication, because if we know the psychology of the questions and answers, we will personalize this more. This question is another question on purity. The more you hear about Bhagavan, that's an input. The more you will speak about Bhagavan, that's an output. Isn't that cleaning the brain then? It's like floss. It's going in through here and coming through here. I'm cleaning my brain then. So it's a further question about, how do I become a better Bhakta? I am referencing Shloka 12. The answer that is given is very much given in a story form. So let me just read out verse 12, and then I'll connect you to the story. Iti pragranatam tesham striyotyadbhuta darshanaha darshayamasa shushrusham swarchita kurvati vibhuhu. Rishi Narayana. That detail has not been shared with you in this verse, but that's who it is. Rishi Narayana manifests the most beautiful beings, particularly the most beautiful women. And what are these women doing? They're well dressed, and all of them are serving Rishi Narayana. How does this make any sense? Rishi Drumila, before he gets to this verse, says, it is not possible to describe every detail of every birth of Bhagavan. Not possible. So I'm not going to. It is infinite. In general, he shares that Bhagavan expresses through the elements express to become this multiverse. And then Bhagavan entered this multiverse. We are all part of this multiverse too. We are creation, which means he entered us also. Bhagavan, elements, multiverse, entered. And what is shared specifically is that our organs are his organs. Feel the implication that your eyes are Bhagavan's eyes. What will you do with your eyes then? Your tongue is Bhagavan's tongue. Are you going to eat unhealthy food then? Lots to reflect on. He also shares in general that Bhagavan expresses as Maya, which expresses as gunas. And these gunas are that which facilitate emergence, existence, and ending that we know to be the nature of creation. Creation emerges, creation exists, creation ends. The question about Avatara. The answer is given that I can't go into every detail because it's not possible, but here's a general framework for you to feel every detail in how you use your organs, in how you see creation. But then he gets into this kata. And I'll be brief. There's not too much to share here. He shares there's one avatara known as Rishi Nara Narayana. I stated this to all of you, that Rishi Nara is Prince Arjuna, Rishi Narayana is Bhagavan Krishna. Rishi Narayana cares about creation. He is the creator, he's an avatara, so naturally cares about creation. So he is living in Badrinath. How many of you have been to Badrinath before? That's where he lives. He is Chiranjeevi, which means he is ever alive. And there he is engaged in tapa, which means he's contemplating. And those who contemplate, they feel contentment and they radiate that. Those in our silence retreat are not contemplating. That's why I told you they're sadder, not happier. But I bring them into this retreat hoping that I can share some of that quietude towards them. Indra, the Sura Indra, who's living in Swarga, is super insecure. And so whenever someone is engaged in self-development, he always thinks that they're doing that so that they can become Indra. So he's insecure about Rishi Narayana engaged in tapa. And see, even though he's supposed to be the chief of the semi-gods, he doesn't even know who Rishi Narayana is. If he knew who Rishi Narayana is, why would he be insecure of him? So he sends Kamadeva and other semi-gods, including entertainers, singers, dancers, and they're all beautiful. They're all talented, to go and distract Rishi Narayana. He'll stop contemplating. He won't be powerful enough to become Indra. when these singers and dancers come to Rishi Narayana, and he's not distracted at all, but finally he naturally opens his eyes. And they are super afraid. Because the last time Kamadeva did this and someone opened their eyes, what happened to Kamadeva? He got burned. So as soon as those eyes opened, his hands went like this. So now they're super afraid. And Rishi Narayana says, relax. You want to play games? Let's play games. So he manifests all of these singers and dancers. And they're much more talented, much more wonderful. Adbhuta, that's how they're described, wonderful. One detail is Gandhena, they are the best smelling. Best perfumes, best colognes. And he says to Kamadeva, you choose whoever you want as my gift to Indra. Like a peacekeeping gift. That I'm not coming there. You can take this gift. And Kamadeva is looking around, and maybe he didn't find anyone unique enough for Indra. So Rishi Narayana hits his thigh. The Sanskrit word for thigh is uru. And hitting it shows he's in control. That is the word Vashi. So from his thigh came Urvashi, the most beautiful being who's not divine. And that's who Kamadeva takes back to Swarga as a gift to Indra, is Urvashi. The main message in these verses, as long as one is pleasure hunting, that is the words that Pujya Swami Tejomayananda used, then one is still in the karma kanda, which means one will not be able to be extraordinary. Not enough purity, not enough clarity, not enough intensity. Oh.